Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines we have. We've got Eric Van Milton from Ripple. We've got Chief Legal Officer from Ripple, Stuart Alderoty. Raoul Pal on major crypto players and what they're going to do. You're going to want it. We've got this evidence from SBI, Swift, Credit Suisse, and the World Bank Court of Settler on the XRP ledger. We got that and the biggest derivative platforms. You're going to want it all. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on Twitter and YouTube for exclusive content. Right now, $1.09 trillion market cap for crypto. Market is off by 0.8%, 27,000 slightly over for Bitcoin, 1,500 plus for Ethereum. Tether market cap 83.5 billion plus. XRP at the number 5 spot fighting for 48 cents. It's off by 2% on the 24-hour and off by 8.5% on the 7-day. That won't stop us. Let's get started. Join us tonight inside the DPMG, the Digital Perspective Mastermind group, where we're going to talk about empowering yourself, taking control of your life and your finances, and making sure that you don't treat your crypto portfolio like lotto winnings. That's what we're doing inside of here, and you're going to do it surrounded by some of the most incredible, important thinkers that you're ever going to meet. That's what makes us truly a mastermind group. We know that you can't keep up with everything. We've got investor checklists. We got portfolio creation. We got all of it in here. Courses, lessons, special guests, you name it, we've got it. Make sure you join. Check out the 3-day free trial. We'll see you tonight at 6 p.m. Let's get started right here. Oh, boy. And looky here. Well, let's play this. Jim Cramer.
I just can't get on the. I can't be in something where Mr. Bitcoin is about to go down big.
Mr. Bitcoin's about to go down big. Meanwhile, we're seeing the largest institutions in the world put in applications for a spot Bitcoin ETF. This sounds a lot like Jim Cramer as a Wall Street puppet talking the book of those largest players, scaring the hell out of retail, which forces the price of Bitcoin to go down, which it has. They continue to buy because they're going to have to back those ETFs with the physical asset, Bitcoin. They buy at pennies on the dollar while the retail runs scared. And then they turn around, get the approval on the license, and then they say, hey, come over here and get it. And then Jim Cramer all of a sudden changes tune on that. That's what I would expect to see happen here. He's such a puppet. But not this guy, Eric Van Miltenberg. You're about to see him right here. This is CoinDesk sitting down with the Senior VP of Strategic Initiatives, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to talk about the recent license in Singapore, formally approved, the judge dismissing the SEC's attempt to appeal the ruling, and the CFO leaving from Ripple. You're going to want all of that. Take a listen to this.
Ripple's Singapore arm recently secured a license as a major payments institution from the country's monetary authority. Joining us now to discuss is Ripple's Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives, Eric Van Miltenberg. Welcome, Eric.
Hi, Lawrence, Michael. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on this license. Can you unpack the significance of it for us, please?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, this major payments institution license that we received just a week ago it is a big step. We've been through this process for a while now. Several institutions did not receive the license, and so we're proud and excited about reaching that milestone. I mean, really the significance is that we recognize Singapore as a significant hub for our business and frankly for crypto overall in Asia-Pac. I have to tip of the hat to the MAS for finding a balance between encouraging innovation and also protecting users, right? I think they really are at the forefront compared to some of the other jurisdictions around the world in providing regulatory clarity, which is absolutely essential for companies like Ripple and other projects on the blockchain to feel comfortable about investing and knowing that there's guardrails and clarity that allows them to operate. So we have invested in Singapore and the region for years now. We opened our office there in, I believe it was, I think it was 2017. We have 50 employees there, and we're excited about doubling down in the region. And this license obviously is a great step in that direction.
It's a welcome change to be, talking to Ripple about developments beyond the sort of ever long-running, SEC lawsuit. Let me just ask you though, has that and how long it dragged on for, perhaps the uncertainty associated with that, how has it affected your capacity to get licenses outside of the United States, such as in Singapore and elsewhere and other places? And what is the outlook for that now that it seems like there's been some rulings in your favor?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the judge several months ago ruled that, in fact, XRP in and of itself is not a security, helped to create a little bit of clarity. I think there's still a long way to go in the U.S. in terms of providing regulatory clarity, but frankly, Ripple's business has been thriving regardless. In some ways, we've been operating even as if we lost the suit, which of course we didn't. And outside of the U.S., in regions like Asia Pacific, in the Middle East, in the EU, in the UK, we continue to press our advantage and move forward with our services. So we're seeing great growth. We're seeing adoption by financial institutions and corporations alike. So I think this is the milestone in Singapore is a great move forward. The more clarity we get with the case, that certainly helps, provides a little bit of tailwind. So we're excited. We're in a great position, and we're looking forward to the future.
So that future, of course, is going to involve a different CFO from my understanding. There's been some C-suite changes. Has a replacement CFO been found? Why did the previous CFO leave? And how are they finding? If they haven't found the CFO, where are they? Who are the top contenders? Of course, I don't know if that's something you're talking here.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't comment too much about that. Our past CFO, Christina Campbell, was fantastic. She's served us well over the past several years, and we wish her nothing but the best. It's an industry where there's transitions. There's really no drama here. These things happen, and so we're in the process of securing that next CFO. Certainly, a company like Ripple with our market position and the prospects for the future is a pretty interesting place to work, and so that process will move forward quickly over the next several months.
And I want to stop it right there because they ask him about the state of crypto regulation. And I think we all know we need clarity here in the United States. But I want you to know that, we're going to hear from Stuart Alderoty in a second. But before we go, because this is great, but we don't have a lot of time today. And we're losing time right now. But UBRI, the Future of Blockchain Research, which is the University Blockchain Research Initiative started 5 years ago by Ripple, is now expanded to over 50 universities. And ladies and gentlemen, let's think of this. You talk about planning for the future. You're talking about 50 universities having the UBRI in place where you are educating people in how to integrate the services of the XRP ledger into business in the future. You're putting it into the minds and the knowledge of these young graduates, and it couldn't be a better idea, I'll tell you that. Take a look at this. This is Stuart Alderoty right here. Yes, U.S. financial institutions, XRP has legal clarity. Sounds like a call to action to U.S. financial institutions to me. Listen to Stuart Alderoty lay this down.
The U.S., unfortunately, we have lost our way. And we've lost our way because we have politics and power being elevated over sound policy, meaning we have certain agencies who are fighting over who is going to get to control, from a regulatory perspective, the technology, rather than satisfy what is the right policy outcome, which I think the licensing framework that we see in it and the Monetary Authority of Singapore pursuing a proper policy outcome through a licensing framework. So right now, unfortunately, in the U.S., the issue of how to label a digital payment token properly, whether you label it as a utility token, a payment token, a security token, that's not left to a regulator in a rational regulatory framework. It's that issue is now being fought in the courts. And Ripple has been on the forefront of that fight with the Securities and Exchange Commission here in the U.S. We have been defending the issue of whether XRP, again, the digital token that we use in our tech stack to enable our customers to benefit from our products, whether that should be classified as a security or it should be classified as a commodity or a virtual currency. We won that issue. We won that issue on July 13th. So hence the sticker XRP is security, which I think gives XRP clarity in the U.S. And XRP as a digital token is now uniquely classified as a non-security in the U.S. But we don't think, even though we won in the courts, we don't think that these issues should be fought token by token, case by case, judge by judge. We think we need a rational regulatory framework. But to your question, although we have some policymakers in the U.S. trying to take the lead to come up with rational regulatory policy proposals, the chances of anything moving forward in this Congress or the next Congress doesn't seem very, I'm not very optimistic about it.
And you know what? He's got good reason to be with all the geopolitical events taking place on top of the obvious friction that Gary Gensler and the SEC have brought to this space. But I will say, we're going to bring together an association with our audience, with this XRP community, and we're going to make this voice so big that we cannot be ignored. We're going to do it proudly, politely, directly, and I tell you, we are going to make sure that the things that need to get done for this entire crypto space, not just XRP. We've won. Right? There isn't much left going on here, right? We're watching the final spiral down the drain here for the SEC and the SEC versus Ripple case, I believe, no matter which way they go to try to stall and kick the can. And believe me, this is an agency that doesn't embarrass very easily. So I'm not saying that this is just a wrap and done, but there isn't many places left for the SEC to move against Ripple or Brad and Chris at this point. So we'll see how this plays out going forward, but I certainly believe it's going to be positive for Ripple and XRP as it already has been. But as Stuart said, we don't need to sit back and watch this space be defined by individual court cases and lawsuits. That is despicable. We need to get Congress to act and pass legislation. Because if we don't, we're going to create a situation that Raoul Pal talks about right here, known as regulatory arbitrage. And it could cause a major move to big crypto players out of the United States. Take a listen, because the UK has seen this go down before, and he's going to explain it to you. This is why it's so important to look back in history and superimpose other markets over top of this nascent market to see exactly what's missing and what could take place. This is a remarkable clip here. Shout out to Raoul and Impact Theory.
The UK says, forget it, we'll do it. It became what's known as the Eurodollar market, which is the overseas market for dollar borrowing and lending. That becomes we don't know the size of it, but let's call it a $400 trillion market.
Whoa.
And then the US, then we get this big breakthrough in derivatives. The US has got the Chicago Board of Trade doing futures and options and all of this stuff. But we start to figure out more complicated structures, things like swaps. And the US stops its banks doing it by its use of regulatory capital. They're like, no, this is inefficient. You can't do this. The UK and Europe went, well, we're going to regulate and allow it to happen because it's big. We've seen this before. That becomes a quadrillion-dollar market.
Jesus.
That's why every single bank from about 1985, well, particularly after the Big Bang in London, so let's call it from about 1990 to about 2008, 2010, all the major banks' largest operations were London. So Goldman Sachs' biggest operation, most profitable, London. Merrill Lynch, London. Merrill Lynch is different because it was a brokerage firm. But JP Morgan, they were all London. So London, if you've been watching the news, is going to do the same thing. It's called regulatory arbitrage. London is putting together a very sensible set of crypto rules, as has Europe, as has Switzerland, as has Singapore, as has Hong Kong, as has Australia. Okay, there's its old trading group that it did with Eurodollars and it did with derivatives and it did with foreign exchange, all got their regulations in place. The UK is the hub at the middle, and it will capture the lion's share. And before you know it, Coinbase, Gemini, and everybody will move to London.
And there you have it. And that's the concern. And as Stuart Alderoty said, if we continue to watch this fight go on case by case by case, token by token by token, I believe Raul's got it spot on here. We're going to watch the biggest players in the United States and in this industry move offshore. That's what we're running the risk of. So we need to come together, raise our voice, and get Congress to understand the larger implication isn't just that we're not happy. The larger indication is that we're going to lose all this innovation to the rest of the world. That's what we can't afford to do. And we know that this is very real and it's not going away. Listen to Broadridge CEO confirm that very fact.
Where you and Broadridge, are you seeing the move to DLT-based platforms occur?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, it's funny because with sort of the implosion of the crypto market last year, I think the general public is sort of thinking like, oh, well, this stuff is going away. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when you talk to people in the know in financial services, it's like, no, it's not going away.
Yeah.
When you talk to people in the financial services in the know, this stuff is not going away, right? It is not going away. And we know right here, this is a clip from back in the, not terribly long ago, where Brad Garlinghouse laid it out.
Ripple is like Swift, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, Ripple's starting point, kind of our first use case for the technology, the blockchain technology, and the digital asset XRP was to solve that cross-border payments problem.
Right.
Swift is quite antiquated, kind of designed 50 years ago. It's slow, it's expensive.
There you have it, and it is. And then we know that there's new technologies and new companies out here moving in to really fill that gap and solve that problem. Ripple is one of them. XRP is one of the options to help solve that problem. Evidence directly now from SBI Japan, Swift, Credit Suisse, the World Bank Group, that Corda Settler is primarily based on the XRP ledger as late and as recent as 2021. Now, we know the Corda Settler demoed XRP in the early days. It is going to open up to multiple different kinds of digital assets, although XRP is still one of them. Take a look right here. You can see the timelines here. Promote establishment settlement system. Utilize affinity of company R3 and XRP, resolving the R3 Ripple legal dispute, which went on and has been solved. The settlement announced between them in September 2018. R3 released XRP settler that makes full use of the XRP ledger. 2019, we saw JV announced between SBI Holdings and R3, and Ripple solution here is high potential to become global standard for financial operations such as international money transfers and trade finance. We go over to here, we see settlement on Corda shows obviously the link here. Cryptocurrency as it was at a demo is XRP. It can use multiple assets along with XRP now, and we see an XRP ledger testnet here as well as Corda's example, right? So you see WB, it's technology and innovation, and we got another slide right here. Cross-border B2B is most meaningful. Medium-term use cases for crypto payments up against the existing bank's wire transfer and messaging system, SWIFT. And it says here platforms like Ripple have the potential to reduce settlement times. We see here Ripple, RippleNet, the use of XRP. IBM, cross-border uses Stellar Protocol, offers Corda Settler, which supports XRP, partnering with SWIFT, R3. You see it all right here. Very exciting stuff to see. I also want to remind people too, back in 2020, we learned that 85% of Italian banks are exchanging interbank transfer data on Corda platform by R3. How about that? And then we take a look at this. Eurex right here is one of the biggest derivative platforms and uses for R3 Corda, DLT for securities, which can obviously use XRP and other digital assets. You see Eurex right here. Derivatives market is made up of 4 major participants: speculators, arbitrageurs, hedgers, and margin traders. And then you can see here, Using Corda distributed ledger technology to digitally represent baskets of securities from Eurex right here. So very exciting ties. It seems like we are moving into this phase where there will be an implementation. We know that November 23 will be a shift for a lot of ISO 20022 users on Swift's network. We also understand that, at least I hope we all understand collectively, that for me doesn't transfer to price necessarily. Now, I wouldn't get upset if it did, but what I'm looking for is, again, what we have seen in history past is a slight phasing in of all of these new things that are coming, right? So that could be small payments at first being made in settlement, or pilot things that are happening that are being turned on and starting to use publicly. We got to temper all of that for now, because I do believe we're going to get to that place. I think we're seeing enough information to know we're getting there. We just have to really pay attention that these things continue to unfold and continue to phase in to the ultimate end goal, which is the use of DLT and all of these different companies and products like Ripple, R3, and XRP. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. It's getting exciting. I'll catch all of you on the next one.